I think Taraka, I was most impressed with both presentations, but it had two different aspects. The team synergy was much more focused. They have understood the concept and the branding and going into a new market. The most impressive thing that I found out, I mean, they didn't come very strongly on that. You're from Sampath Bank, and the bank's much more known for a very Sinhala Buddhist bank. And for them to kind of, create the trust, going to the east, putting Mudarba, which is a very, very Arabic name, and they have thought through that, and it came on a very softer approach.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, actually, man, I think you had a very valid point. In fact, I didn't want to even question them. Yes. Although they had a soft panel approach, I think their term of using Sampath Mudaba is directly the brand concept that Sampath entails, which showed to me they have not only gone in depth into the Muslim banking, but they have also gone into the branding and brand perception of Sampath Bank itself.
That one idea, that the second two, that the mismatch between the investor and the lending element. Because that mismatch was means that investment is for a short term most probably, and that lending avenue is for a longer period.
Have they identified that in that? Or have they missed it?
They have missed it.
They have missed it. Okay.
Their approach was that they never, I think they are not of the view that the investor needs to identify the business. That's why I asked that specifically that question. What they are saying is, because the bank has the expertise in project financing to handling projects, I think the bank should take the role to identify what the project is. But however, they don't rule out the fact that investor himself or herself can probably come out with the business itself. And then if I may add on to your first question, I think probably being non-bankers, I don't think they will have the technical capabilities of matching the investment cycle with the lending cycle. Right. But I felt they have done a reasonably okay justice to that particular thing, being novices.
I agree with that. On a strategy level, the second team synergy did very well.
Actually, Dan, I think you were spot on. I think where Enterprise Alliance went wrong is that I think they haven't got their fundamentals correct.
They didn't actually understand the whole concept of the Sharia banking concept.
Yes.
For example, Pete's final question itself shows that he didn't have that knowledge of understanding where this whole concept went.
They missed the fundamental brief of the exercise, number one. Number two, they kind of dilly-dally on some of the issues. They were not very, very focused on them.
Which I saw in Synergy. I think it was very well done. Because I think while they were on the right track, all of them collectively was living in what they were presenting there.
And I felt even you look at the Enterprise Alliance, and I think we all agree, that Synergy has won this time, and which you may announce. But I also felt that, in terms of a leader, Pete came off very well. While Peshan was very weak. He didn't have the conviction, and Munasab, who kind of did extremely well in the previous times, was also very general. So I clearly feel this. I think we all agree with that decision.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll call the teams, and you may announce the winner, and then we will talk about the week team. Welcome to the boardroom. Tarak is going to give the verdict, and he's going to give the reasons why. Tarak.
Okay, first of all, let me thank both teams. I think Enterprise Alliance and Synergy both did a great job. If I just talk about the Enterprise Alliance, your presentation and your strategy and your approach that you all have taken. For us, it seems that while your product seemed to be generic in nature, we felt that you have not got the proper understanding of the Sharia banking or the Muslim banking per se. While there were a lot of areas that we felt were good, we realized that the initial brief and the focus what you all were need to be focused on was pretty much not there. Then if I look at synergy, I think you all have got the fundamentals correct. Because I think if I may recall yesterday, I said number one is that you need to understand in principle about the community and what they want to do and what they need. So that was very important. I think you all have done a great job of that. And then in terms of the product and the strategy itself, I think you all have come and presented a fairly good product, although from a banking perspective, there needs to be little improvements that needs to be made, but then those leverages are given because we don't expect you all to come up with the proper sort of banking technicalities per se. So evaluating all that, the judges felt that synergy, you all have done a great job and you all have won, and your product is what we believe is good. So,
Pete, I think you all took a shotgun approach. I think you all kind of moved away a bit from the brief. Maybe there was some strategy behind it, but in a competition, you were there. We felt the other team did extremely very well, and having two Sri Lankans in the team, I was a little bit disappointed that you didn't get the ground situation right. And the fundamentals of pitching it to going to the east, while the competition, you start from from the sub brand itself, creating the trust. So they have thought through much more strategically. Munas, you have done very well in the last few sessions, both strategically and you presented yourself very well. But in a team that you lost today, and the question is, why should you stay? What is your answer to that?
Because like for us to then come up with the concept that we came up today, to get that base research, the base foundation that we basically based our entire strategy on, I was responsible. Like I got the information that we had. I went through, as I mentioned before, I went through, I called up lots of people, I called up different people, I checked through the internet. I had my knowledge that I had, I put in all that, and I taught all these guys what I learned, what I knew, and I had the base research. And if we didn't have that, we would have lost even that. I mean, we wouldn't have had even a strategy that we had today. So I definitely have to be on the team.
Okay. Who led the team, Pete or you?
I was the team.
Okay. So if you were to take somebody to the next level, whom would you want in your team?
In terms of the two of them?
Yeah. Whom would you go to battle?
Like in terms of who I would want in my team with
Yes.
you?
Yes.
I would want Pete.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Will you all leave the room so that we make the final call? I think it's clearly seen that out of the three, Peshan is the weaker link. But I think I would like to give him a chance, because even the last two sessions, his contribution was not A+. I mean, he was in the winning team. He was not creative enough. He was trying to blame more on the system, and we all try to blame on the system. That won't take us anywhere. And talking to both other contestants, there was a feel that and I was always impressed with Pete's thinking, and especially being non-Sri Lankan, and his strategic view of things, So I mean, let's face it, they are not bankers. So, but I would like to most probably talk to Peshan and see ask him how, what he thinks. But I think the decision is that he goes and these two stay. Thank you. Welcome back. We deliberated on each individual, who's fared well and who's fared badly, and we feel at this moment, Peshan, he's the one who did fare very well in this scenario. Peshan, anything, you want to say why you didn't do very well this time?
Nothing special. Well, actually, I tried my best. Doing research in the bank and going to the deputy director. There was some kind of a small problem there. I could have managed well very easily. I admit my fault over there.
I think the learning of this is, I mean, it's all a game. You are there by yourself, and that's the kind of learning out of this exercise. So, unfortunately, you are eliminated this time, and you may leave.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you.
So the whole thing is getting really hot now. It's like the quarterfinal stage and 2 more, for you to get to the final. And every time somebody gets eliminated, what is your learning out of that? Because the whole idea of, creating, great leaders is to learn from other people's mistakes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Prashant,
Hey,
how you doing?
doing fine, better.
How do you feel about the decision?
Well, I was expecting such a decision in the beginning, but I had to expect the unexpected.
Why were you expecting such a decision?
I had no background in marketing to start with, since I'm a law student and a political studies, international relations student. I was relying more on my instinct when I'm participating in the competition. So I hadn't contributed much to my group as well, not in this event, even before as well. So
You were studying for exams in the middle of this too, weren't you?
yeah.
How did that impact your performance, do you think?
Very much because I couldn't find time to study for my exams.
Yeah.
Because the dates were clashing with the times they provided. Even yesterday, I excused myself, isolating myself from the group,
Yeah.
allowing only 2 group members to do their work all alone. So basically, it's my fault.
So you accept everything as it is today?
Definitely, yes.
Feel good about it. Well, all the best though with your future endeavors.
Thank you.
It's been great having you on Ideators.
The students from the UK outdo the Sri Lankan undergraduates as Peshan departs.